Assalamu alaikum to all the enthusiastic students out there. With a fresh breath, your own teacher Azak Rashid is giving you an enthralling welcome into another video session of Assimilate English with Azak Rashid. With this hope that you all are happy and healthy and gaining fruit of knowledge, let's begin this video session. As it has already been portrayed on your screens, the topic that I've chosen to bring in your consideration today is application writing. In this video journey, we are going to unfold how we can write an effective and excellent application. But before the beginning of this application, let me share you one thing with you guys, that what I have observed since I've been teaching application writing, that students prefer to cram and memorize applications rather than learning the skill that how they can write good applications. But I can assure you that after this video lecture, cramming and memorizing of application will no longer be needed. So without any further ado, let's begin. The first thing that comes in one's mind when we study something, that what is it? So what is an application? The question arises in your mind. Usually when I ask this question in my class, students answer me with that application is application, because they all have been studying it for so long, but they do not know the definition of it. So I'm going to reveal that what is an application. Here we have. An application is a written request. Does it make a sense? Yeah, it does. Let me elaborate this with a very good instance, that whatever you do when you want someone's favor, you obviously request them to give you a kind of favor. So whenever you are seeking for someone's favor and you want a formal way to ask for favor, you will write an application. And I would say application is the best choice, a formal way to ask for kind of favors. I hope that I've answered the question. Then comes the second question. To whom applications can be written? So here we have the answer. An application can be written to anyone. As I've told you earlier while telling the definition of application, that application is a written request. So as we can request to anyone, an application can be written to anyone. Then comes the other question, a bundle of questions I have compiled for you guys. Why do we write applications? What's the purpose of writing this? Why should I spend my energy writing an application? So, well, I would say that there are numerous reasons of writing an application, but here I have compiled three basic and major reasons with respect to your academics, that why do we write applications. The first one is to ask for permission. We write applications. Then comes the second one, we write applications to ask for favors. And then comes the third, we write applications to get out certificates or any documents issued, etc. So here I have compiled some example topics of application for you guys to give you a more vivid picture of that what we've just talked about. So the first question for you, and these questions all are been taken from the past papers to tell you exactly what you are going to be asked. The first one is write an application to the headmaster or headmistress of your school. Depends upon that whether the headmaster is whether the head of your school is a male or a female. So, okay, to write an application to the headmaster or headmistress of your school to allow your class to go on picnic and make necessary arrangements. Obviously, one is asking, or one will write, a student will write it to seek for permission. Then comes the second question. Write an application to the headmaster or headmistress of your school to give 1 week sick leave, or it could be anything. You want to go to Umrah or somewhere, or you want to leave earlier from the school. So you're actually asking for a favor. Then comes the third one, is write an application to the headmaster or headmistress of your school to issue a transfer certificate to another province. Obviously, it's issuance of documents. It could be transfer certificate, sports certificate, etc., etc. Then comes that what is the format of an application, how to write that, and to know it really well, we have to get to know the components of the application writing first, then we'll talk about the format. So in general, there are three basic and major parts of an application. The first one is header, then comes body, and in the end we'll write the footer. What are these? To learn them in more details, I have compiled these examples for you. In the header, address of the receiver is written, which includes, what does this mean? To whom you are writing the application, you will write the address of that person. Obviously, that person is the receiver of your writing or your application. So, in the header, what will be included? The first thing that will come on the top of that is the designation of the receiver. What does this mean? Designation or the post of the receiver, like in which designation the person is working. Let's suppose I am an English teacher, so I'm working in a school or college or in a university. So my designation is a teacher. Well, my name is Azakurshi, but you won't mention the name over there. Let me give you another instance. If you want to write to a manager of an organization and you know the name of that person, let's take an instance. It's Robert or James. So you will not write to Mr. James. You will write to the manager instead of writing to Mr. James. Then comes the name of the organization. Obviously, the post that has been decided over there must be in an organization. Then come the further details of the organization if needed, but it adds more charisma to your writing. Then address of the organization including block, town and city. Then we'll skip a line and write the subject of the application, the subject matter, the main thing that tells about what's the topic. So here we have the example of the header. The header starts always with 2, the headmaster, ABC secondary school. As you've been observed over here that I've added comma after each information. What's the purpose of adding a comma? As you all know, the comma tells us about something is in continuous process or a continuity. When you want to write about things, you write like I want a cup of coffee, I want a cup of coffee, a chocolate and a vanilla ice cream. So I've added comma in between these. So as over here, our address of the receiver is continue, we'll add a comma after each information, and when we'll end it, we'll add a full stop to tell that the address of the receiver has been ended. Then we'll skip a line and we'll write the subject. Now, here needs some explanation about few things. That is ABC Secondary School. Why did I write ABC Secondary School rather than naming it? I could write the name of any school or organization. Let me tell you one thing over here, that there are 2 kinds of application or writing. The first one is the real writing or real application writing, and in particular I will talk about. And the other is sample application. What is real? What's the difference between real and sample? The real application or real writing is when you write something in a real situation to a real person. Let's suppose you are in school and you got sick all of a sudden. So you want to leave school earlier. So to ask for favor from your principal or headmaster, you will write application to the headmaster as you want to leave earlier the school. That was a real situation in which you've written a real application. Then comes the sample application. What is a sample application? Let's suppose that you are taking your papers or examination paper of English, and in the question paper you've been asked to write an application to the headmaster or headmistress to allow your class to go on picnic. Let's suppose as I've given you, and make necessary arrangements. Obviously, in the examination hall, you're not seeking for that favor, or you're not asking for that permission. So why do you write that? The question arises. It has actually been asked by the examiner in the question paper to know that whether the student is eligible or whether the student knows how to write an application of that particular grade that they have been given the question paper or the student is given the examination. I hope that I've cleared it. Then comes the campus 3, the further information. It could be anything. If you're writing about a food chain, you will write the branch instead of campus. But for educational institutions, we write campuses. As we have a branch of McDonald's or Kentucky's Fried Chicken, generally known as KFC, but we have campuses of university or schools rather than calling them branches. Then comes the information of the address, that block 4, Gulshan Iqbal, Karachi. These all are the fictional things. You can change them. As I've told you that we are writing a sample application, so you can consider anything. But when you're writing it to the real person, you write each and everything which is the real. Let's suppose you're writing to Ahmed Textiles, branch 1 and block 4, and that it could be Metroville and Karachi. So you'll write all those. Then you'll skip a line and then write the subject matter, which is generally known as the subject. What's the purpose of writing the subject? The purpose of writing the subject is to give the reader a preview about what he or she is about to read ahead, which saves the time of the reader and tell him that what is this all about? What is this writing all about? So here we have the second thing, which is body. Body could be called the most and the main important part, the most important part and the main part of the writing, specifically application writing. It has 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph is introduction and background paragraph, in which you introduce yourself and then talk about the background, that why do you need to write that application. Then comes the subject matter paragraph, in which you write what's the matter actually that you are seeking for, and then comes the appealing paragraph. Okay, let me clear you one thing over here as well, that usually students write applications in which they start with I beg to say that I am this and that, and kindly allow our class to go on picnic. They do not give a background. They do not write the subject matter. They do not write the appealing paragraph. They just compile everything and all, and then and the application of which does not give a sense. Why it does not give a sense? As consider yourself. Let me give you an instance. Consider yourself that you want your parents to allow you to go to a school picnic. What you'll do? You'll say, I want to go on picnic and kindly allow me, which is a wrong way. You'll go and tell them the background, why you want to go, and then you'll appeal about that. That is a basic and that is the formal way of asking for a favor. So here I have the example of body, and I have divided all these paragraphs individually. So this is the example of the very first paragraph, that is the introduction and background paragraph. That is, respected sir, the salutation. With great veneration, I am XYZ student. Why did I write XYZ? Because it's a sample application of grade 9th M. On the behalf of my class, I'm writing you this application, and the purpose of this application is that, as you know, our final term examinations have been ended, and we are waiting for our results. As you can see at the start and the beginning, I have given my introduction, and then I'm telling the background. Why do I need to write that? Due to a couple of hectic weeks of exam preparations, we all are fed up and our minds got tired. To reboot and refresh our minds, we desperately need a picnic. That was the introduction of mine, the writer, and the background, that why do I need to write this. Then comes the second paragraph, the subject matter paragraph, in which you'll write the whole matter. Of the number of discussions, our class have decided next Wednesday, 20th June 2020, for our picnic, and we have chosen Ringville as our picnic spot. We want you to permit our class teachers, so our subject teachers, to join us in the picnic. We also want you to make necessary arrangements of transportation, food, and entry passes. That's what my main subject matter was. Then comes the appealing paragraph. Let me tell you one thing. In general, if you will see the nature of the application writing, it's a persuasive kind of writing in which you try to pursue the reader to give you a favor. So the appealing paragraph is a very strong and important thing. The appealing paragraph must be very excellent. So here we have the example. We hope that you will consider our subject matter and allow our class to go on picnic with our class teacher and the subject teachers on proposed date and place. Your generosity will be highly appreciated. That's what we are end with our application. Then comes the footer, the last thing, as I've told you. What comes in the footer? In the footer, address of the sender is written, which includes the designation of the sender. Now, we've talked about the receiver. Now, who's sending? Let's suppose you're writing, so you are the sender. You'll write the designation of the sender, the name of the sender, grade of the sender, and the date line. Date line means in which you'll write the date. Here we have the example. Yours obediently, XYZ student, or you can write XYZ, 9th M, date 20th June 2020. You'll skip a line before writing a date line. So I did not think that whatever I said was able to grasp your mind together. So I've For your betterment and for your ease, I have compiled a sample application for you guys. Here we have. This application tells the real format of the application that usually students ask me to where to skip a line, whether to do what, and what are the do's and don'ts of an application. So this is a paper with lines that can tell you whether to skip a line or whether to not. As you can see from the top, I have written the header as I've told you earlier. Then skip a line, you'll write a subject. And as you can see that I have highlighted the subject to give more attention of that writing towards the reader, that he will be able to get to know the review of that what he or she is about to read. Then comes the salutation, and I've told you, let me read it for you. With great veneration, I'm XYZ student of your school of grade 9th M. On the behalf of my class, I'm writing you this application. And the purpose of this application is that, as you know, our final term examinations have been ended and we are waiting for our results. Due to a couple of hectic weeks of exam preparations, we all are fed up and our minds got tired. To reboot and refresh our minds, we desperately need a picnic. The first paragraph has been ended. Then comes the second paragraph. After a number of discussions, our class have decided next Wednesday, 20 June 2020, for our picnic, and we have chosen Greenville as our picnic spot. We want you to permit our class teacher, so our subject teachers, to join us in the picnic. We also want you to make necessary arrangements for transportation, food, and entry passes. We'll skip a line. We hope that you will consider our subject matter and allow our class to go on picnic with our class teacher and subject teacher on proposed date and place. Your generosity will be highly appreciated. Skip a line, then write yours obediently XYZ 9th M, and then anything you can write over here. Let's suppose if you're writing an application to the manager. Obviously, you're not obedient to them. You're not a student of them. So you can write yours faithfully. As we're writing an application to the headmaster, which is an organization, you're a student in that organization, so you write yours obediently. It can be anything. It's not necessary. XYZ student 9th M, then skip a line, then write the date line, and then you are done with an excellent application. I hope that I have given you a very good idea of how to write an effective and excellent application. So that was Assimilated English, another video session. Thanks for watching, all the students. I hope that you all will stay happy and will keep learning the way you guys have just done. So thank you so much for your precious time. Take care of yourselves. Sayonara.